Hello! I forgot to do this last cycle, so I'm remembering to do it this cycle. It is time for a little base tour, and it's a build cycle, so we've got some cool things to look at. This is actually the only room in my house that looks nice. This is the fairy circle. Say hi, Puck. You are going to be moved soon, because you're going to be at the end of the course. Because I think you deserve it. But yeah, this is just, basic things around my build. I really don't have much. I didn't even make farms this cycle, other than, like, the ones I needed for the build. Like cactus, which you'll see why I needed that later. And my cocoa bean farm, which I didn't use to make any cookies. I made no cookies this cycle. Truly a tragedy. And then, like, snow, which I actually learned how to use an auto crafter for. Crazy. Also, if you're wondering why I have speed, Sherb gave us something called Sugar Rush. But we're gonna go look at my build. Also, it is nighttime and raining, but I cannot help that. We cannot sleep. So, this is what we've got going on. Also, sheep tower. But this is my build. I built a giant version of the game Candyland. With help, I would like to give so much credit to Cosmic for getting me a lot of my materials to make all of my concrete, and also for helping with the terraforming of that and building a few of those. There is still a few things that, one of the only places in the build that's not mob-proofed, on top of the candles. Basically everything else is mob-proofed. But yeah, Cosmic stuff is still there. I'm gonna move it later. Because I just don't have the time. But let's start by coming and looking at the book at the beginning of the field. Hello and welcome to a game of Candyland. Basic instructions. I'm not going to read through this. It's, the basic instructions of how to play Candyland. But there's also a secret 6th page. We'll get to that in a second. Basically, everyone has to, click this. This will give them, a number. I got 6. Dispensers randomly pick you. And so, when I inevitably would go, I'd come to this dispenser, click it. It would say to go 2 limes, so I'd put this back, and then I'd move 2 green tiles. All the tiles are randomly generated, but there are the same number of each of these. I made sure of it, and by randomly generated, I mean either by asking Q Nation to give me a team color, or by just using a dispenser, and it would do it for me. This bridge is to skip part of the map, like that entire section. That bridge is a requirement. You have to pass it. I just needed something to get over the Chocolate River, which does go all the way down, and all the way down there is actually glowstone under carpet. But there's no way to go look at it because it goes so far down, because I did do a couple more layers than I think I really needed to get the effect, but I like the effect. I'm just going to keep running along the course. We have multiple little gumdrops because I needed things to fill the space, and there's not as much as you think you can build in a candy course. Now we're actually going to deviate off of course for a second to come look at this mountain. There was actually a mountain there before. Hold on, we're going to come look at this side. This is the only place where there's still torches. You can see where I dug out this entire area. It was all the way up there. I dug it all out, and then I rebuild a mountain in the place, and I am going to show you the secrets of the mountain because I think it's really silly. But I built this entire mountain in a couple of days. It's Candy Cane Mountain. I went off of an actual Candyland board, but little cave. In here is a little secret. He's the dragon. And a flaming sword. There's lava under here, and this is an armor stand. I don't know how long the armor stand will last because it has in fact burned away before. And rod, and that. And a little place where people could have been trying to camp out while the dragon was asleep. I did try and build another dragon up in the sky, but I decided that I hated it. Now, we're gonna come over here to the back where I can easily just... Here is what the underside of this all looks like. I'm actually going to use some scaffolding to get up to the top so you can get a really good look at this, because I think it looks really silly. I did, oh no, that's the one thing about speed, I'm not quite used to it. Oh, there's an Enderman there, but like, look at the tunnel is all that's there, and then all of this. I do want to leave a sign in here at some point and just be like, what are you doing? Don't look at here. Don't look. It's not real. But yeah, that shows how much I built up this mountain. And then all the lighting. And all of the snow came from the snow golem farm. But yeah, I think it looks really, really cool. I'm gonna make another thing just in case if that burns out. But Firetech isn't on, but it still burned away once, but it may have just like because of not being online. So let's go back to the course and keep going. Run along the course. Every single one of these has the same things in them. And that was one of the most annoying parts, but luckily yesterday Sherp gave us another sugar rush, gave us a sugar rush, and that's whenever I did it. These are all supposed to be like those like rock candy like geode things that look super like that are like on sticks and they're like hard candy. A lollipop, and then we start seeing the ice creams, and also this is supposed to be a Kit Kat. I hope it comes across as a Kit Kat because it's supposed to be a Kit Kat. I'll get to the ice cream in just a minute, but we have more gumdrops. Then over here we have the chocolate mound, where the chocolate river is coming from. It's hard to see in daylight, but I have campfires under here, so it looks like it's moving and it's hot and melty. And then this always looks like chocolate to me. More gumdrops that you saw earlier. Now let's look at the ice cream. These are one of the only things where I used any sort of schematics for like spheres, but not the one in the back. I'm gonna get an aerial view for these. These are all spheres with little things in them. They should all be mostly spawn proof except for these two, but everything else should be completely spawn proof because there's carpets on top of all these. And this one, which has its own cone, hold on, tucked in the back here because there was an extra space here, is soft serve ice cream, and I used no schematics or anything for that. I just mathed it on my own. And I'm shocked it turned out as well as it did. Anyways, back onto the course, but I thought those looked really, really cool. And that was an actual part of like the Candyland board that I was basing my build off of, was like the ice cream field. Once again, there's a bar of chocolate, and I like the little like look of someone eating off of it. I had to fill up a lot of like random empty space, but some of it was also just left. Also, I will say all this is green wool, which I did because I wanted it to look like fake grass, because all of it's supposed to be candy and sweets and things like that. Here are some little peppermints. There are a couple of these dotted around, and I like that it looks like it's in like its actual like plastic cellophane wrap. I think it looks really cool. This was the first one. I wanted something to fill that space. And then we come over here. This is just a few cookies. Look at them. Chocolate chip cookies. They don't look the greatest, but I was also like needing to use spruce instead of oak. And oak would have looked better because I was using so much oak. Another one. And then this is partially done by Cosmic, partially done by me. I did all of the round ones and several of the spirally ones, but also Cosmic did do a good few of these. That one I did out of concrete, and I don't know how I like it. I like a lot of like the glass ones. I think they look really cool. I know Cosmic did like this one and the orange one, and I think this blue one was also Cosmic. I don't know, Cosmic did like 3 or 4 of them, and I'm so thankful and also so understanding of like not being able to finish it. Like, this is my build. They're not even on my team. But I want to give them so much props because they also got me basically all the stuff that I needed for concrete outside of like a small handful of gravel and like 1 stack of sand. Everything else they got, and I didn't even use all of it, and I feel bad that I didn't, but not everything was concrete. Now we go past this. This is supposed to be like those like airhead sour like strand things because I needed something like big to fill this area, and I was like, ooh, those are really good and I like them a lot. So we have 2 of them interacting over here. And it's also benefits it's gay. We're almost to the end of the course though. Wow. This whole area is 250 by 250. That's the like area around it, and I wanted to make sure that it still came across as like this is a board game. So there is some empty space, another chocolate bar, and then finally we get to the cake. I got that beacon and all the stuff for it in like 30 minutes yesterday from like finding my first fortress. And the little mini cakes, and this one I'm going to let y'all in on a secret. Some of my building stuff. I was originally going to oh, Bobby's going back to sand placement. I was originally going to make the castle very different, but I have never actually built a castle before. I'm very good at organic shapes and not very good at structural shapes. So I decided to build a giant birthday cake instead and used things for the candles. Those were going to all be towers. And this is the end of the course. They have to end on this yellow spot, and here is where I'm going to put Puck in like a few minutes. This I actually all decorated yesterday whenever Sher first gave us Sugar Rush, and the hardest part of this is trying to light everything up so there's no torches about. Glad I noticed that. Like really large spaces like this, it's really hard to get things lit up with like invisible lighting or only like chandelier lighting. I don't love how these look, but I also could not. I eventually decided to go with like long runners, but I still think it looks pretty good. And also there's anywhere there's like carpet, there's gonna be lighting underneath it. And obviously there's lighting in the chair, and there's the end stone or the end rods. Also, I would like to say this circle is not perfect, and you would never know. I didn't realize it until I was decorating the interior. Also, the ice cream cone is also not perfect because I didn't notice until I was at like the very end. But like one of the sides is longer than others, but you cannot tell. Which is how you know that mistakes do not need to be that big of a deal. Also, in here, I'm just gonna show my little. There is totally an interior. Yes. And shock wow, imagine if there was an interior here. I really like doing those like cheeky little type of things. I think they're really funny. Apparently I need to go get more rockets because I'm almost out of rockets. But yeah, I think the whole area looks really good. And it looks really good in daylight. Also, how I did these was I got campfires on top of hay bales. And I just think it looks really pretty. And all of the candles have the flame pointing the same direction, so it's like the wind is going that direction. Which was something that I was very committed to making sure that I did. The wind is consistent, as you can see. And these are all just not like the same colors that I used for like teams. I thought it was a really fun way to do it. And I'm really, really proud of this build. And I kind of wish I'd finished it last night so that today, if people wanted to, they could actually play a game. And again, there was going to be dragons flying around. Ignore the Discord sounds, as Bobby is going to go play sand. But I still think it looks really good because it's such a big build that I committed to so insanely. Like, the whole thing got done. Also, I'm gonna take y'all in for a little. All this is on top of the ocean, and this is all the river. But yeah, I think it's really fun. I might see if anyone wants to play a quick game, because luckily Candyland doesn't take long to play, but there's only like an hour and 20 minutes till judging. Yeah, there we go. And I do want to show off my little sheep shack. That's not really a sheep shack, it's a sheep tower. because I needed so much wool. I did let all of the shears run out once I had finished with my wool, but these are all still full. These ones are all brown, and then these ones are all pink. There is a total of 48 sheep in here. I could have made it tall enough that it was 64 sheep, but I was like, I do not need that many sheep. But I think it looks really, really good. Did I flip back to the first page? Yes, I did. And now, if you've come this long, I say as I've only been recording for 15 minutes, because while this is a very large build, it is a very simple to understand build. I'm going to show you all the secrets. Down here, my villager area, my iron farm, which is overflowing. All of my villagers are gone. I wonder what this is doing here. Yeah, when we got switched to permanite, I moved all of these the same day. So they would still work, because villagers still work in the nether when day is turned off. But I'm really, really happy with how my build came out. Despite also how absolutely terrible my organization skills were this cycle. I had no organization. Everything that looked like it was supposed to be organized, I just gave up on. Other than, gravel. Gravel, gravel, gravel. Again, I did not need nearly as much as Cosmic got me. I did still use through, like, all 3 of these things worth of sand, and that one. This is the concrete generator. I spent many times just break this and just sat here. But yeah, I really hope you enjoy my little build. I wanted to do this while I still had Sugar Rush, because I'm done building, but Sugar Rush is really fun. And I think it looks really, really cool, and I'm really proud of how it came out. Especially how much it's like pretty much completely spawn proof, because for a good third of the cycle we had 0 light on the server. It was dark the whole time. It was permanite. And whenever we started getting the permanite, which was halfway through, I was still working on the first sphere and had barely done anything and hadn't lit up a single part of my build. And then I had to go torch spam everything while the challenge was happening, and then had to, the other day, start replacing everything with glowstone, because apparently glowstone is one of the most, one of the brightest light blocks. Like, it's got the brightest bright. So, and it was also one of the light blocks we had access to before the light shop finally got put back in place. But I think it all looks really, really good, and I'm hopefully going to not make myself do anything on this scale again, because I keep telling myself not to, and I keep doing it anyways. And I would not have finished this if not for, like, Cosmic. Both getting me so many of my materials, but also helping a little bit with that back corner so that I could work on other things. Because I kind of left that back corner till the end. I didn't finish it until today. It was the last real thing I needed to do other than add in the book and the dispenser to get your team, or your order. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed my little tour of my build. I'm going to hope that people will want to play, and if people do, I will record that in a VC, because I really want to see this played, because it hasn't been played yet, and luckily Candyland is a very fast game, so hopefully it won't take 30 minutes again to get through the whole thing. But anyways, I'm gonna run back into my base really quickly, and then I will end this. Also, this cat that's been here and has no name. But I will see you for another video another time, because this has been what's occupied all of my time. Now I really just want to get on and play more Origins, because I haven't done any Origins since the beginning of the month. And I miss my guy. Anyways, bye!